No bull, no Scotty, no Pippen, no Michael, no Jordan, no bull, no bull, no bull. Only real shit in my town, not if fake niggas ain't round. No bull, no bull, yeah, no bull.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to another episode of No Ball. We've got a lot to talk about. Just before I've come on, I've just seen that the next two games have been called off or postponed, which is a sensible decision, I think, not just from a Bulls fans' point of view, that the fact we've got no players, but also for the safety of the other teams and just the league as a whole. Because as we all know, COVID spreads like wildfire, and we just don't need it. So a bit of common sense from the league there, doing that, and we'll see where we're at on Sunday. But we'll get into all that with our guest today. Nobody probably knows who this is because I have had an absolutely crazy day, and I was writing a tweet out earlier, and it went into my drafts because I haven't got a signal, and I was like, right, I'll redo that when I've got a signal, and I just completely forgot. So everything's been up in the air today. Mondays are always a rush, like I always say. But my guest is a UK-based Bulls fan. I'll let him tell you all about him. Very interesting guy. Got a few really cool projects on the go, which you should check out. But yeah, I'm going to bring him in now. So without further ado, Mr. Jay Mullings. How you doing, brother?
Hello. How you doing, Jimmy?
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
I'm good,
My
thanks.
name's Jay Mullings, for anyone that's listening. I'm a lifelong Bulls fan and obviously UK-based writer, director, creative, but yeah, all-around sports fanatic.
Good, man. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. It
No problem at all.
should be good fun. But yeah, like I just said, I don't know if you could hear that intro there, but we just had the news about 40 minutes or so ago that the next two games have been postponed. So
I like
yeah,
to think I had something to do with that. I was one of the people that was constantly tweeting the NBA saying, "Stop this! It's nonsense." Like it was six, then seven, then eight, then nine players. I'm like, you're gonna wait for the whole city of Chicago to go up in? Like, come on now, stop it. So
I think it
I'm
ended
I'm,
up.
I'm happy
I
with that.
think we currently got 10 in COVID protocol, 10 players, which is just insane. Funnily enough, I was just on the NBA UK fans Spaces chat on Twitter, and they were
Right.
giving me grief, saying, "Well, you've still got 8 players. You have to play the game and all this."
Yeah,
They're only
no.
winding me up, I'm sure, but I tried not to bite. But they know how to
It
get
doesn't
me.
make good TV either, and it's not good for like you said, the health and safety of the players. You're literally taxing them, having them play lots and lots of minutes. It's just not a good. You're trying to keep your immune system strong. You're not trying to pass anything on. Stop the games. Like, let's be sensible now.
Absolutely. And listen, as much as we all want Bulls to field a fully healthy team and get back to winning ways, the priority is the safety of these guys out there and just everyone, the fans, the staff as well, because there's been staff going down. Obviously, Stacey King's gone down.
Right.
I think Bill Wennington's just gone down as well now. So God knows who would have joined Adam Amin tonight, tomorrow night had the game gone ahead. Who knows? Maybe Chuck Swertsky would have jumped on, which would have been quite cool, actually. I'm a big fan of Chuck. But anyway, hopefully Stacey will be back for the next game. If it does go ahead on Sunday, we're supposed to play the Lakers on an early tip, 8:30 UK time tip. So
Yeah.
typical of that one did get postponed,
Right.
but I'd
It
rather
would have
they
been nice to see us on TV at
yeah,
a decent time for sure.
it would have been nice, but I mean, it still might happen. But listen, if we're going to be fielding a G League team, I'd rather it got postponed and it's moved back to 1 o'clock in the morning, whenever. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, Jay, about you, man. How did you get into basketball? And also, the obvious question: why are you a Bulls fan?
So I think with basketball, the obvious answer for anyone of sort of our generation or anyone who's sort of born in the 80s was Michael Jordan. And actually, we used to get Transworld Sport, and we used to get the basketball highlights on TV.
Yeah,
So you saw it, the tongue was out, the shoes were fresh. That you couldn't escape Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson, the three Mikes.
Yep.
You couldn't escape them. They were everywhere. So it was easy to sort of side with the Bulls then. And then I guess how I became a fan was the fact that it wasn't easy for him. It's not like everyone laid down and let him win a title. They beat up on Jordan pretty badly. You know, he was doing all of this amazing stuff where it's like it's clear to see he's the most talented player in the sport. As a young kid, I understood that when I was watching Jordan, Jordan was special, but he wasn't winning titles. And I think it was like, well, I sort of identified with that, like, oh, he's actually got to overcome this. It's not just about being the best on your own. It's a team sport and he needs help. And so, yeah, ended up as a Bulls fan from then on, really. And then just like an NBA fan, because I grew up in London and Jamaica. So in Jamaica, the NBA, because I think it's because of the proximity to America, NBA is a big deal in Jamaica as well.
Oh,
Patrick
really?
Ewing, yeah, Patrick Ewing is of Jamaican he's Jamaican of Jamaican parentage.
Oh, hold up. You said Patrick Ewing. We can't let that slide.
Yeah, I know he's Knicks through and through, but still, you know,
He's a Jamaican heritage. I genuinely did not know that.
Yeah. A few of these players have sort of Jamaican heritage. Jamal Murray, same thing. But yeah,
it is massive
that's really
in Jamaica then.
Say again?
Basketball is massive in Jamaica.
It's popular, as in it's shown on TV, playoff time, all that. And then Jamaicans tend to just get on with American sports anyway. I think, again, it's more of the proximity. They're closer to America than we are.
Yeah, sure. Oh, wow, that's interesting. I generally didn't know that. So, yeah, no, everyone knows my hate for Patrick Ewing back in the day. Like I always say, I respect the head out of the guy now, but at the time, man, I hated him. So yeah, we're obviously of a similar sort of generation then, because that's exactly how I initially got into the game. And like you said, it was a hell of a lot more physical back then. And Jordan had to work for every possession. Well, not just Jordan, but everyone in the league had to work for every possession. So you look at it now, it is a lot softer, but it's the same with anything. Any sports have changed and life in general has changed through time. So it is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, man, they were some crazy times. Still go back and watch the games now. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, obviously you watched The Last Dance, I take it, speaking of those guys.
Oh, definitely. I was out, I released one of my songs during that time, and I just put on my Bulls jerseys and I took my drone out and I wore the Jordans and I was out there and I was watching The Last Dance. It sort of inspired me to get out and film. This was during COVID time when everyone was pretty much in the house locked down.
Yeah.
Saw The Last Dance. And I was like, no, got to go outside and do something with this. And yeah, really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know that Scottie Pippen might not like it too much, but
oh man, it's a crazy one, isn't it? What's your opinion on Scottie at the moment?
I think it's the sell books. I don't think he genuinely believes any of this stuff. I think it's just he's playing a role to get people to get eyes on his book. It can't be anything else. He can't genuinely feel like this. When Jordan went away and he had the chance to step up, he chose to sit down and let Kukoc take the shot. And come on, he can't blame. Is he gonna blame Jordan for that as well? Like, no, and I don't think he actually believes it. I think it's just to sell books. Truthfully,
my issue with that is, I mean, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I've bought the book, but I've only bought it because I got a signed copy, right? And I shout out to, oh my gosh, I've forgotten the guy's name, Martin. Sorry, Martin, I've forgotten the guy's name onto it, but he actually messaged me and said about the book, and there was an opportunity to get a signed copy of the Pippen book sent over. And I had no intention of getting... so he's Miracle on Martin Street, Martin the Geek. Sorry, Martin. I had no intention of getting the book. And then when Martin messaged me a link so you can get a signed copy, I was like, I haven't got anything signed, Pippen. I might have to get one of them. So I did. It's not actually turned up yet. Hopefully it'll be here soon. But I've got no intention of reading the book because I've heard enough.
Got now. You've got now. You got to do it for the culture now.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest. I'm not a massive reader anyway, but I don't know. For me, I think I'd have been more inclined to have read it had there not been all this MJ hate. Because a bit like you, I just kind of feel that it's not genuine.
No, it can't be. It's not genuine. I don't believe it's genuine.
Which then makes me think the whole book's not going to be genuine.
even if it's not genuine, you can sort of pick sense from nonsense. So it's like, oh, some of this stuff is true, and we get this is stuff we didn't know, and then the rest of it is like, okay, throw that out. That's just sensationalized. But that's what these books are generally like, these autobiographies that aren't written by the person who is named in it. So
Yeah, true. I don't know, man. I'll see. Maybe if I get bored or
Netflix
starts,
might commission it and make it into something.
I would probably watch
Pippin's
that.
Last Dance.
I would probably actually watch that. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw. I think I touched on it with Elliot last week. The Luke Longley documentary, Australian story
Yes,
did.
yes. I've was it Vice or one of these? I saw something on YouTube where it's like they show how he lives in Australia, how weird it is for him to be as tall as he is, and yeah, I did watch it.
Yes, it was a two-part documentary. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend watching it. It's on YouTube.
Right, I
It
have
was
seen it.
from.
No,
No,
I
I
have.
mean any
If it's on
listeners or
YouTube, I've seen it.
any listeners or anyone that hasn't seen it, perhaps. It's really really interesting, and it's Luke Longley's version of it and how he struggled to adapt to the competitive mentality that Michael Jordan was drumming into everyone, and how it kind of mentally scarred him in a lot of ways. It's really fascinating. But
Oh,
Michael Jordan actually was on it. They got him in and we're interviewing Michael Jordan. Luke Longley wasn't, but the production team were.
right.
And yeah, Sam Blake's in the comments. Hi, Sam, thanks for joining us, mate. He's put, yeah, Australian Stories, that's who it's by. So if you search Australian
Ah,
Stories, anyone who wants to watch it, Australian Stories, Luke Longley. It's really, really good. And they asked Michael Jordan at the end, like, why have you, well, they said, can you blame Luke Longley for feeling a little bit put out that he wasn't involved in The Last Dance? And Michael Jordan admitted that he should have been involved. And
mm,
at the end, when they asked Michael Jordan why he'd given his time for this documentary, he said because he loves Luke Longley and he
of
really
course.
respects the guy. And it was quite a really, it was a side of MJ that you don't really see. I've certainly not seen. It was quite a humble MJ, and it was all quite a bit emotional, really, from someone who lived it back then, And
Right, right.
it was fascinating. So if anyone hasn't seen that, I highly recommend it. Say it's on YouTube. It's pretty easy to find.
I did find the Michael Jordan story about when Luke was killing it in the finals.
Yeah,
He gave him a compliment.
at half time.
And he ended up with the same stat line.
That's right. Yeah, well, I can't remember what the stat line was, but yeah, whatever it was,
Yeah,
he
he was
complimented
killing
him
it.
at half.
Blocks, he was getting rebounds, he was getting points. And
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, this is how you're supposed to play. And he's like, at the end of the game, he had that in the first quarter. He was going off. And he's like, yeah, you complimented him, and that's what he had at the end of the game.
and then back in the locker room, apparently MJ said to him, "I am never paying you a compliment ever again."
Right. But you can imagine what kind of aura he has, where it's like if he compliments you, it literally had the power to throw you off your game.
Oh man, for sure. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You must be doing something crazy if you're getting a compliment from MJ.
Right. Yeah. So he was like, I need to just capture this moment for the rest of the game. And it's like, oh well.
Yeah.
They ended up losing by, was it 10 or 12 or whatever it was?
They lost. I don't think it was by many. Yeah, they certainly lost the game. But yeah, like you say, Luke Longley didn't get another point. I don't think he got another rebound or an assist
No,
or
another
anything
block,
else.
nothing.
That was it. So,
that was it.
yeah, it's quite a comical story, that one. But yeah. So have you seen? Obviously, this week's games we had Denver last Monday, which we won. I don't know if you saw. Did you see any of that one?
So when I can't watch the games live, I watch the highlights on YouTube whenever I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen highlights, not seen the actual full game footage or anything like that. And I didn't want to watch the Miami game. I kind of knew what was brewing. I was sort of on the high since when they left New York with both wins, and then it's like fast forward a week later, and it's like, oh, everyone's just down with COVID. So I was like, well, I'm not watching. I don't want to see certain players on the floor. I'm sorry, I just don't want to see it.
Well, for the first time this season, or including last season, I think actually, excuse me, I've not actually watched a Miami Heat game back yet. I've had my kids this weekend. I've had a crazy, crazy weekend doing all Christmas stuff. So I've not had a chance to even watch the game back yet. I will do. Well, I've got plenty of time now because our next couple of games are off. But I plan to watch it tomorrow. So I will watch it anyway, regardless of the score and the players that we're missing.
Yeah.
I still want to watch it and sort of try and take bits from it. But going back to the Denver game, so who did we have starting? We had Lonzo, Zach, Io. Io got his first start against
course.
Denver. I mean, that was crazy. Derek Jones Jr. and Vooch. I mean, Io, man, that kid, he looks real special. I feel like we say it every week, but he really is legit.
And he's putting them in a position where Kobe White's trade value sort of goes up, where it's like, oh, well, every team wants someone that can kind of play the six-man role and give you instant offense, be a microwave scorer. But then the Bulls have a younger, more rounded player that is like homegrown. They can keep this person. So it's like it may end up being, thanks, Kobe. We don't want to lose you, but we kind of got to lean over this way. It depends. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But his development is nothing short of remarkable.
Oh, it's incredible.
That, and he cares because it's his home city. So
I mean, you can tell just by watching him how much he cares. But I mean, offensively, he is phenomenal. But he's even doing it a bit on the defensive end as well, which I really didn't expect to see. I mean, well, let's be honest. I don't think anyone expected Ayo to be like this, but I didn't realise he had the defensive side of him as well, which is just a massive bonus. People know my stance on Kobe. I love Kobe as a person. I really like him. I like his attitude. He's a worker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not all out that Kobe's really going to be as good as people think. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really do. I hope I'm wrong.
Oh.
But for me, Kobe's either ice cold or red hot. There's no in between.
Shoot.
Yeah, I know. I get that, man. I get that. But I don't know. Listen, I want him to succeed. Like, I really genuinely... I'm not on the trade Kobe band at all. But if we had an opportunity to get someone in that fits more a need for now, maybe a power forward in or something like that.
We need big.
With Pat Will out, and if Kobe is what we need to put in that trade package, then I'll be honest, depending on who it's for, I don't think I'm dead against it. But I'm not trying to trade. I really like Kobe. Whenever I say this, people just think you hate Kobe. Like, I don't. I really want him to succeed. Like, I really do. I love him as a person. I love how hard he works. But I mean, I'm not completely all in on Kobe. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. The sort of sentiment I've gotten from like the Bulls faithful, if you like, is that yes, you would like to keep him ideally, just like they would have liked to have kept Thaddeus Young, but you kind of got to make these moves because the front office has changed, the coaching has evolved. They've sort of got to get out of the mentality of we've always got to be thinking about improving. And with that being said, then only your stars are like concrete. Everyone else is, it's not that it's a business, but it's like, well, we got to think about the team and we got to think about winning and we got to think about growing this culture. I think Kobe is not a sacrifice to that, but he's a piece that you have to be willing to sell high. And it's like, now's the time to sell high with him. And then, if they can turn that into a big, fine. If they can't get big, I don't think, like you said, I don't think no one wants to sell low on Kobe.
No.
You use him as bait to get something you absolutely need.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Listen, I don't want to trade him, but if needs be, I mean, let me put it to you. Completely hypothetical, of course. If we were trading for a need now, for a big, and we had to put in either Io or Kobe, who are you putting in?
You got to send Kobe away. You got to keep Io.
I agree.
He's younger, and then obviously the cap and everything else. But yeah, you have to keep Io. That, and he plays both, like you say, he plays both sides of the ball. I don't think Kobe White could guard a cone.
No, he's not. He
can light you up from free, but he's not stopping nobody, man. Like,
I'm with you. But listen, I'm not hating on Kobe. Like, I'm really not. People who know me, like, they know I genuinely like the guy. Sam, who's in with us now, Sam loves Kobe, so there's definitely no Kobe hate. Trust me. But
and he went to UNC, so I respect that. It's just,
of course,
it's horses for courses, and unfortunately, he might find himself being the odd man out.
Do you know, I'm dead against Kobe starting. I am against that. I like him coming off the bench. But when he does start, it is so cool when they say, from North Carolina. It brings it all back, man. That still sounds awesome. But
for sure.
Denver. Obviously, we beat Denver. We beat Denver, didn't we? Yeah, sorry. We beat Denver. Vooch, again, still going through this shooting slump.
Yeah, I think with him, he's the third option, clearly. and it's a matter of he needs to be comfortable with knowing when he's going to get touches, how he's going to get his touches, where his sort of hot zones are. I don't think he's completely comfortable in the offense. And then he was coming off sort of injury, COVID, all of this stuff. So he's been playing catch up.
It's
And
just
he's the only guy who has to guard all of the bigs all the time.
yes.
And they're sort of leaving him in no man's land. It's not his strong. So he's uncomfortable. But I reckon when he plays well, it's sort of he plays well for like 2 games, and then after that you're like, well, what we get in the third game?
I think it's such a shame that he went out because he was finding his form. His little hook shot looks normally so it's money normally. That was
Right.
dropping for him. His three was dropping for him. Everything was sort of just starting to take shape with him, and of course then he goes out and he comes back and it's like he started the season again. But
Yeah.
he's getting the looks. He's getting in the right positions. He's getting the ball. There's not a shot that he's taken that I really don't like.
Yeah,
That's a
for
bit of
sure.
an exaggeration, perhaps, but I'm not. What I'm getting at is he's not taking stupid shots.
No, for
His
sure.
shots are good looks. His little hook shots, they would normally drop, like I say. So that's a positive. It's not like he's just sort of going missing in games. He's still very much there and getting the ball in the right spots. It's just that shot's not dropping, and it's what I hate most about it. Obviously, other than the fact the balls are losing when it's happening.
Right.
Every time, of course, they beat Denver when he didn't have a particularly good game. In fact, I don't think Lonzo had a particularly good game again. Oh no, he did against Denver. He didn't against both the New Yorks in New York, did he? But he sunk that three against Brooklyn
Yeah, the
out
clutch,
of absolutely
clutch free.
nowhere, which is crazy.
All's
But
forgiven at that point.
the reason I desperately want Vooch to do so well is not only because it affects our winning, of course it does, but I'm hearing some real dumb takes on Twitter, man.
They want him traded ASAP,
Oh
but
my
when you
God.
look at what he does, right, when he facilitates, especially at the top of the key, you can't. He's like a. Ooh, no, let me not say that. I was gonna say like he's like a mini Joker or like a Joker light, but it's not that impressive. But it's close, it's dependable, but you can run offense through him, and bigs that you can run offense through are not that they're hard to come by. Yes, he's not the 25 and 12 guy, but they need to realize that he's playing third option. We want to play faster. We're smaller, so we tend to want to swarm people, take the ball and push the ball up the floor. He's sort of the guy where we're going to need him come, the postseason if that's what their ambitions are. So they kind of got to think long term with him. Then he has no serviceable backup. You're having to play 4s at 5s at long stretches. Like it's all on him. He's probably thinking the game a lot more, and it's probably affecting him that way. They probably should just ease him up a little bit. I think at least.
Yeah, I mean the pressure is obviously going to be on him, especially when DeRozan was out, and now of
Sure.
course with Zach out as well, and bloody everyone out. So there is a bit more pressure on him scoring the ball. Where when you've got Zach and DeRozan and even Lonzo when his shot's on,
Yeah.
a lot of pressure is off Vooch for scoring. But Io as well. I mean, I can't talk highly enough about Io. But anyway, we'll get to the next game, which was the Cleveland Cavaliers. Oh man, I watched this game live. I got up to watch this one, and it wasn't a shock because Cleveland are doing well.
Yeah, they're trending upwards now.
I thought they would. I'm not just saying that. I'm sure there's a tweet
Really?
somewhere to back. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I
I
did.
thought there'd be a dumpster fire. They were just. It was a roster full of people that are tall.
I mean,
That's all I saw.
I was one of very few people that said I think it could work. Maybe that was my heart rule in my head a bit because everyone knows I'm a massive Larry Markkinen fan.
Yeah.
So maybe there was a bit of that. But I thought it would work. I didn't think Mobley. I actually thought Mobley would be coming off the bench, to be honest.
Right.
Because I thought, why are they signing Markkinen? They're not going to drop Allen. Allen will play at the centre. I thought Mobley will come off the bench. Lowry will play at the power forward, and Mobley will be the backup. But I mean, how you couldn't bench Mobley now? I mean, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And they
phenomenal.
lost Sexton as well. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I've been surprised by the Cavs. I just sort of ruled them out. Like I said, when I saw that it looked like the only criteria for anyone they were signing was be at least 6'10", and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. But they've proven me wrong. So yeah, when we lost against them, you're right. It sort of takes the stink away from it because they're actually trending upwards. But it's the Cavs. I don't like losing against the Cavs.
No,
Joakim Noah would hate losing against the Cavs, and I'm a huge Noah guy. So yeah, no.
I feel you there, man. I think we're always going to struggle against big teams like that.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, we just are. We're very small, and it works against most of the teams, but the likes of the Cavs, that's always going to be a tough game against those guys. The height, I mean, it's just Mobley defensively. I mean, the man was absolutely incredible,
And
absolutely
they got
incredible.
Jared Allen as well.
Allen's phenomenal, and of course,
I thought I did wonder why Brooklyn traded him and kept DeAndre. I would have got DeAndre out of there, but oh well.
yeah,
That
I'm
sort
with
of
you, and
backfired against
I
them
think a
in a
lot of
small way. It's not like they're crying that the Jared Allen isn't there. You got KD going off now, so
I think a lot of Nets fans would probably agree with you, though. In all honesty, but yeah, who knows? But yeah, Darius Garland, man. I mean, he's just turned it
they
on. He turned it on in the fourth.
they look really good over there. They look really organized.
Yeah,
Yeah, nothing more you can say about the Cavs. The Cavs look like they could actually. So they're looking like they may be on the inside of the playoff picture, whereas like the Knicks are struggling. They look like they're trending the other way as well. So here we go. I was waiting for that one. I was setting that one up.
actually, you didn't say the Knicks are good. You said the Knicks are struggling. So I think we record that.
They're finding a hard time being a 500 ball club, which is like, well, that's the least you would expect from someone who was in the playoffs last year. So,
I'm
yeah, I
not at
think
all surprised that the Knicks have dropped off a cliff.
you're not surprised.
No, not at all. I think they massively overachieved last season, and fair play, absolutely respect for that. Like, absolutely, how can you not? They finished fourth out of nowhere. But no, I'm not at all surprised, man. Like, I'm not just saying that to hate on the Knicks. I said it last
Trade
week.
took their heart.
Yeah, I'm just not surprised, man. I mean, how Kemba can't get into that squad at the moment is beyond belief. Obviously, you know,
Yeah, he's had a major fall from grace.
as a Bulls fan, you have to love Tibbs, but that seems crazy to me that Kemba just can't get in that rotation. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. To me, they're not getting in the postseason. Who have you got as what top? Let's say top six. What's your prediction?
So you got the Nets, you got the Bucks, you got the Sixers. You got to fancy the Sixers at this point. You got the Bulls, of course. And then after that, it's a toss up. Whoever wants to get in, I'm not going to argue with whoever takes 5, 6, 7, and 8 or the play-in spots. But I think the top 4 is who I focus on.
You're
I
not
can't see the other 2 teams. I don't know. They're fringe teams. It changes every few weeks.
you're not putting
I don't.
Miami in there.
Miami wasn't. Wait, I chose the Bucks, the Nets, Sixers. No, not putting Miami in there. I'm not taking them over the Sixers. Not the
No,
way
that's fair.
Embiid is playing. Well, even if they get up there, it won't mean anything. If they face Philadelphia would bounce them.
Really, you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll get them. Yeah, they got a point to prove.
No, that's fair. I mean, I'm looking at the moment. So we got obviously Brooklyn and Bucks. I think everyone predicted at the start of the season they were going to run away with
for
it.
sure.
They're now first and second. They've knocked us down. Then it's us. Then Miami. Then Cleveland. Then Sixers. Then Washington, Charlotte, Atlanta, Celtics. I'm not expecting too much from the Celtics. I don't think Atlanta will jump up too much either. Washington seemed to have sort of dropped off a little bit, which I think was kind of expected, although you just don't know in this league.
They're bracing for a trade, probably.
Wow, who knows, man? And Charlotte they're there or thereabouts as well, alongside Washington. So you kind of think the top 6 is the top 6 really as it is then, with Brooklyn, Milwaukee, us, Miami, Cleveland, and the Sixers. Not necessarily in that order, but
not necessarily in that order. And like I said, I'm the reason I'm rolling with Philly is Embiid's play and the fact that he's sort of demanding, his teammates around him support him. But I know Miami is Miami, and I'm a Jimmy guy. I know that
Jimmy.
Might not be a popular.
No, I'm with you, man.
I really like Jimmy Butler, and I think he's a leader and an alpha and a dog. But I don't know. I've never been sold. I hate losing to Miami, actually. So when we lose against them, I'm just like, why? Why are we losing? Duncan Robbins? No. Tyler, no. These guys shouldn't be beating us.
I think that Miami game was ruined by not just the Bulls. I'm not making excuses. Miami had a lot of guys out as well. That was potentially a fantastic game. a horrible game probably as a fan of one of the teams, because I think it would have
Sure.
been a very tight game. But as a basketball fan, that would have been, in my opinion, that could have been such a good game to watch. It was ruined. Both teams were out with so many players
Decimated.
out. So
Yeah.
it's such a shame when that happens, but hopefully we'll get to see it later on in the season. Sam's put in the comments, if Acme could work their magic with not much to use, would you take Sabonis or Turner? So we're hearing a lot of this talk at the moment, because they
Yes is the
basically,
answer to that. You take any one of those you can get. You take both of them if you can get both of them too.
who would you take if you could choose one?
I'd take Miles Turner. Shoots the
Really?
three, defends the rim. Yeah, I'd
My
take him.
issue with that, with Turner's a centre, isn't he? You're not going to play him at the power forward.
No.
You're not going to bring him off the bench, are you? But then you're not going to put Vooch on the bench, surely.
I think you sort of you rotate the starting position between them, and I think Vooch will probably be happy with sharing the load with someone that's like, his sort of contemporary. I think if you put a lesser player next to him, there's no room for telling him he should be on the bench and that person starts.
No, that makes sense. I mean, Miles Turner, he definitely would give us a lot of need, like what we need. He offers a lot of that. I just think, I don't know which one I would take. I mean, of course, the package would have to not be too much, because I wouldn't give up a hell of a lot because I like what we've got now. And I don't think adding one of those for, I don't know who you put on the line with that. Do you put Kobe and Pat Williams, perhaps, and maybe a couple of picks?
That's the thing I should ask you, because many people are saying you should push your chips to the right. You should be trying to go to win now mode. And you can't bet on Patrick Williams' development when you can have a player that can help you for the next 2-3 years, whatever it is, because he's a project player. They drafted him high, but you weren't. His ceiling wasn't projected. He's projected to be Kawhi light, but you need a lot of time for that to take place, because he doesn't seem to be particularly aggressive.
No.
So it's like, well, what are you going to do? Coach him to take more shots? How's that going to work? And he's been injured. He's been unlucky with injury. So it's like, well, I would say if they're really serious about changing the culture, they have to make the sort of, not cutthroat, but these like strong decisions and think about trying to win now. So yes, everyone that isn't named Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Vooch is tradable. All of them are tradable. They all are, except Ayo. Actually, I'm keeping an Ayo. Everyone else,
I don't know.
you might find yourself on the outside. This is what it's got to be.
The non-tradable players for me on this roster, absolutely non-tradable. Zach DeMar, obviously you can't get rid of those two. Vooch, I'm not giving up on Vooch. I'm a massive Vooch guy, and there's no way I can give up on someone he's an all-star. He's a legit all-star, and he will find that shot again. That will come back.
For sure.
I'm not giving up on Lonzo at all. I love Lonzo. I can't give him up. I think he's so important to this team. We've waited so long for a legit point guard, and we finally got one. So to me, Lonzo is untradeable. Ayo, 100% agree with that. Ayo, there's no way you're giving up Ayo. Of course, my man Caruso. You ain't trading him.
Yeah, you wouldn't trade him either.
No way. So, yeah, anyone else perhaps? Maybe. I don't know. But those guys are just...
Derrick Jones Jr., you take all of them. Alizé, you take all of them. You roll them up and you pair them with picks and you send them out.
I love what Derrick Jones Jr. has done and brought to us. Absolutely love what he's done. But on both ends, he's been phenomenal. He isn't expiring now. I think his contract's up in the summer. So that's an asset, because teams like to trade for expiring contracts to free up their cap. So I could see Derrick Jones Jr. being traded. I definitely see that happening. But I hope the other guys that I reeled off, none of them can be. And if they are, I'll cry, because I love all of those guys so much. For me, I'd probably take Sabonis, even though he doesn't bring as much as what we need, like Turner does. Just from a position point of view, I would probably bring in Sabonis, because you can play him at the 4, and that could potentially work with the other guys. I think that does. I mean, both guys are going to lift you, aren't they? They're both fantastic players. Let's not kid ourselves. But it is a difficult one, because Turner gives us more of what we need, but Sabonis gives us the positional.
So what do you do with Patrick Williams at that point?
Oh man, what about trading him for Sabonis?
Well, even if you don't trade him now, like,
Well, I think
what happens to his development?
you bring him off the bench, and he learns from them. He learns from these guys. He's still young. He's 20 years old, man.
But
There's,
because he's a project player, he needs reps. You have to push him in the fire. That's why I think you can't trade for a player that blocks his development. You either get rid of him or you trade. If you don't get rid of him, you got to trade for the need, which is the need at the 5. But I agree with you that Sabonis is the more versatile big that can play the 4 and the 5. But it's like, what do you do with Patrick Williams? If you're ready to give up on him, then
absolutely not.
he
No,
goes. If not, then you can't. I don't see how you trade for, like you say, unless you're gonna then make an exit to get rid of Vooch at some stage. And you said you don't want to do that.
no. I would bring Pat Williams off the bench, and he can still play starter minutes. He's just doing it from the bench,
Mm,
and that might force him to be a bit more aggressive with the bench unit, perhaps. I mean,
true.
we thought we would see that in the summer league, didn't we? We all expected him to take a massive leap, and he did for the first game, I think it was.
Hmm.
And then he kind of didn't again, and it was a bit strange. I don't know, but listen, I think we forget that he is 20 years old.
20.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a kid. He's a kid, really. I mean, me at 20, I was so immature. I mean, Jesus Christ. And I think we do forget that he's 20 years old. So there's plenty of time. We're all so desperate for him to do well, especially with it being AK's first draft pick for the
Yeah,
Bulls. He wants him to. We all do, don't we? I mean, he's
for
a
sure.
really nice guy as well. He's a lovable guy. So, yeah, I'm not giving up on Pat. I would give up Kobe for one of those two, and maybe some picks. That
Yeah.
Portland pick we've got this off season, I'm not even sure that's going to convey because it's lottery protected.
Ah,
So at the start of the season, everyone was like, "Well, we definitely got that pick because there's no way Dame's not going to be in the playoffs." But at the moment, I mean,
yeah.
it's not looking great. So I kind of really want Portland to make the playoffs. But
I'm with you on that too.
yeah, so at the moment that pick's probably not tradable because it might not convey. But that's another story. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think we've got an awesome team. We definitely do need a big before the trade deadline. We do need we need to fill that spot for sure because
Well, do you think I think Thaddeus Young might actually get bought out. I think that was what I was hearing as well.
I would love to have him back. I understand why he had to get traded because you
Yeah,
trade
of
him for
course.
DeMar DeRozan, and we've all seen what DeMar DeRozan is. He's absolutely phenomenal. I would absolutely love to get Thaddeus Young back. I know we couldn't trade for him, could we? Because of the
Hmm.
way that the
It wouldn't make sense to trade for
the
him. But if he
rulings
gets
all up.
bought out, I think he would come back to Shy, and then that sort of puts an
Oh
end to having to
man,
trade for need.
that
You what you need.
if that happens, that to me, if he's anything like he was for us last season, that elevates us to a
Yeah,
legit playoff team. And I'm talking,
sure.
conference finals.
We have depth. We'd have everything pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. So if we have to see if that actually happens. If that does happen, then that's the look.
That would
To
that
get
would
Bad
that
Young back, yeah,
that would do
off a
it for
buyout,
me. That would do it for
be
me.
beautiful.
Then we don't have to trade anything for Turner
No,
or Sabonis because I'm not sure Sabonis is right for us. I don't know. Maybe he is. I mean, he's a quality player. Don't get me wrong. And like
top.
DeRozan said when he come here, quality players they'll figure it out. But
Yeah,
oh man, Thad Young. If Thad Young come back, I think the whole of Bulls Nation would be just
Fadich. as they
yeah.
would call
Oh
him.
man, be so happy if that happens. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So, but I mean, we need bigs because we showed against against the Sixers, they just bullied us. Against Cleveland, they were too big for us. We struggle against the biggest team, so we definitely need bigs.
Yeah,
So going on to we've kind of covered the Cavs game and then the Heat game. We kind of covered that, haven't we? It was I've not seen it yet, so all I'm doing is reading off of the box score. And I mean, our starters, we had Troy Brown Jr. in there.
yeah,
McKinney was in, who we signed. It's crazy, really. Simonovic has got nearly 5 minutes, which he's not even getting any time.
yeah.
Devon Dotson's
And
been coming in
that
early.
Stanley Johnson got COVID as he got put into.
Stanley Johnson did. He played like 5 minutes on Sunday, and then he got COVID. Tyler Cook come in and played 5 minutes. It's
Yeah.
just it's madness. I'm glad these next 2 games have been called off. It just makes sense for, like we
Yeah.
said, for the
We can start
safety of,
sort of regroup and get players back into the fold, but
for sure, man, for sure. So
otherwise we would have started falling down the standings artificially, because like it's not even based on play, it's just based on circumstance. Why would you want that deciding how this goes?
yeah, it's not
But yeah.
not right, is it? It's just not. It's not how any of us want it to be. So common sense has come through. Jay, I've just seen on my notes, because I make notes of some of the games. One of the notes I did have was, I don't know if you saw it against, was it the Denver game? Yes. The IO pass to Zach LaVine, where it was kind of like an underarm, like a scoop pass over, who was it over? So balls were on a break. I think IO got the steal, if I remember rightly. And
Right.
Levine was cutting around the back, and Io literally just with 2 hands, like an underarm lob up in the
Rick
air.
Barry style.
Yeah. And he lobbed it up in the air, and Levine caught it, and of course Levine dunked it. And as Levine was running back, the camera caught him. Levine was like smiling and like pointing at Io, and then Levine just mimicked what he just done, as if to say what the hell was that? So
The
yeah,
Evo hoop.
that was just one of mine. I thought that was quite fun. I actually rewound that, and I think I videoed it on my phone and tweeted it out, because it made me chuckle. So just to touch on that as well. Right, we're going to do the player quiz thing now.
Ready when you are.
So
Fire
we're going to start with the 90s. So this guy played for, obviously, the Bulls. This is in no particular order. San Antonio Spurs, Orlando Magic,
Nope.
Portland Trailblazers,
Ooh.
Cleveland Cavaliers, and Phoenix Suns.
Spurs. You're throwing me off with Spurs now. Ooh, what player from this player's from the 90s? He played for Lamar. Nope, Lamar. No, not Aldridge. Aldridge didn't play for the Suns. You said 90s as well.
So he come into the
thought it
league.
was Rodman at first, but I don't think it's Rodman now.
It's not. He come into the league in 88, and he played for the Bulls from 93 to 98.
Steve Kerr.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, gotta be him.
It is Steve Kerr. Well done.
When you said Spurs, I was like, Spurs? Cavs? Yep. Yes, Kerr.
Yeah, 2 stints with the Spurs, actually. Ended his career there as well. Right. Second player. So, obviously, Chicago Bulls. So, this is from the 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, he was at the Bulls in the 2000s. His career may have gone either side of that. But Chicago Bulls, Charlotte Bobcats. Always makes me laugh saying that. Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, and that is it in the NBA.
Huh. Magic, Pistons. You said Pistons, Magic.
Pistons, Magic, Charlotte Bobcats, Chicago Bulls.
Bobcats. I think I know this, but I'm not sure. Charlotte, Bobcats. Bobcats is what's throwing me off now. What Bull played for the Bobcats? And wait, sorry, what were the other? The Pistons.
The Pistons and Orlando Magic.
I want to say it's Rip Hamilton, but I don't think it is. No. Magic. The Magic part is killing me. I don't know who that is. And no, sorry, it's the Bobcats. As soon as you say Bobcats, I'm like, which Bull played with? Oh. No. I was gonna say it's Tyson Chandler. It's not. No, I don't know.
So he was drafted by the Bulls.
Ben Wallace? No. Is it Ben Wallace?
Not quite.
No.
I could give you a big clue there.
Is it Ben? No, it's Ben Gordon.
It is.
It's Ben.
It's Ben
Gordon. Said Bobcats, I was like, Bobcats, and then I didn't remember that he played for the Magic at any point. But yeah, it had to be Ben Gordon.
So his last NBA team was the Magic, and then he went to Texas Legends.
Yeah, his career could have gone a different way. It was all about the contract negotiations with him, wasn't it?
Again, I wasn't watching then, so
yeah, he blew up basically. He went off. He had a hell of a season, and then I think it was basically that when it came time to negotiate his contract, It just didn't work out. It completely fell down, and I think that's sort of when Derrick Rose came through after that. But wherever it was, he didn't want to defer. Didn't want to be like the number two, or whatever it was. He thought it was his team. He had sort of those demands, and that's what set him up with this. I think this ridiculous contract that made it untenable for him to stay at the Bulls.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's how it ended up happening with him.
I know
Wherever
he was quite
he
popular with
wasn't
Bulls
supposed to leave the
fans.
Bulls, but yeah.
If I remember, well, say remember, if I'm right, I believe he was quite popular with Bulls fans when he was
Of course,
playing.
yeah, he was a gunner. He could shoot. But I think it was the negotiations that messed it up.
Right.
Whether he wanted, his team might have wanted too much, or the cap wouldn't have allowed, or something like that. Something like this happened, or was it the emergence of Derrick Rose? I can't remember. Something like that happened. All I know is he left under. It's like if it could have worked out, it might have been good, but it didn't. Obviously, we wanted to keep Deng. There was a Kobe trade actually that was supposed to happen.
Yes.
Ben Gordon was supposed to be part of that trade, and I think the Lakers also wanted Deng, but Kobe wanted to play with Deng, so Kobe said no to the trade because he wanted Deng to stay, but he wanted Ben Gordon. They wanted Ben Gordon gone, yeah. So Ben Gordon, whenever his name comes up, it's a pain point because there were a few scenarios where it could have worked and it just didn't. I think it was to do with the contract negotiation. I'd have to check.
What could have been, huh?
Definitely, especially if we could have got Kobe for him.
Wow, yeah. I mean, from what I heard about the whole Kobe thing, it was a case that he was leaving because Shaq was still at the Lakers, and then the Lakers contacted Kobe and said, "Shaq, we're going to trade Shaq." So, I mean, he was basically as good as signed, from what I heard within that story. Kobe's side of that, you used to tell him, he was as good as signed, and then of course the Lakers got in contact and said, "No, Shaq's gone."
Right.
Kobe went
Pretty
back.
much stay.
So that's,
I think he wanted to go Philly, or he wanted to have a play with, I think it was Allen Iverson, or he wanted to play with Luol Deng.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
those
that
were
would
like
have
his
been
two main choices.
That would have been insane if Kobe had played for the Bulls. That would have been, in a way, it's kind of nice he didn't, because
Yeah, of course.
the whole Lakers, the one team thing is that's Kobe, isn't it?
It's
And that's
beautiful. That, and he would have been constantly compared to MJ in a very uncomplimentary manner.
So as nice as it would have been at the time for Bulls fans, in a way, it's kind of equally nice that it didn't happen, because that's his legacy now, and that would never. Sure. That will never be changed, and it's I mean, you see Lakers. The first thing I still think of is, even now when I see that Lakers logo, is Kobe, and I don't think that will ever change for me personally. So
and Staples is gone now. It's now the
Crypto.com or whatever it is. Yeah,
it's an awful name.
I think they only changed it. Who was it that put on there? Oh God, I forgot who it was. Was it Aaron? One of the Bulls, UK Bulls fans, put a tweet out. Because we just beat the Clippers and then the Lakers on a back-to-back at the Staples.
Yes.
And it was that next morning that that night they announced that they were changing the name. And one of the Bulls fans, I think it may have been
last
Aaron.
wins in Staples Center, basically.
Well, they said the Bulls beat the LA team so bad they had to change the name of the arena. Which was that was a great tweet. I forget who that was, so whoever that was, I do apologise, but I did retweet it. It was a great tweet, yeah. It deserved a lot more credit than it got. So, right, next player. He played for the Bulls in the 2010s era. He was around the league before and after, but
confident with this one now.
Right, I think you're going to get this one pretty easily, if I'm being honest, but we'll see. So obviously Chicago Bulls, Utah Jazz.
Oh no, you're throwing me now. Oh, Boozer. Ugh. You Carlos Boozer, yuck.
Too easy. I didn't even need to get the other two. The other two were Cleveland Cavaliers and Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, Boozer. That was a trade I didn't like, because that's when we were in the sweepstakes for LeBron and Wade. We ended up with Boozer. It was like, no, LeBron, Wade,
Bosh.
and Carmelo. Bosh. No, we were on for one of those three. We struck out and got Boozer.
Wasn't it supposed to be like LeBron, Wade, and Bosh all coming to Chicago?
Bosh was never a part of it. It was supposed to be them and Carmelo.
Right.
But Carmelo took the re-up in Denver. So he went and renegotiated and took his max when he was supposed to be out in free agency when they all were out in free agency, but he took his money. So
Right.
that's why it was supposed to be those three. And then yeah, D Wade probably wanted to come home, so it would have been Chicago. But D Rose, so I've been talking about tampering lately and how wouldn't it have been nice if D Rose actually tampered then?
He was never interested in doing the
No,
recruiting, was he? From what I
no, I
understand.
love that about him. I'm wearing the one now, so
Oh,
yeah,
okay. It's the D Rose one you got. Nice. Yeah,
yeah,
that just
but
wasn't him. That's not who he
no,
is it? And
no,
like I do like his reasoning though for why he didn't do it, and it was because if I'm recruiting players, I'm then saying that my current teammates,
yeah,
I'm pushing them out, and I'm saying they're not good enough, and that's disrespectful. So I like the way that he explained why he didn't like recruiting. I thought that was a nice
yeah.
touch.
He was the last of that sort of. I don't want to play with the greatest next to me. I want to play against the greatest. I want to prove myself against them, and
Yeah,
that mentality is completely gone in the NBA now. They all buddy up. They all summer together. They all train in camp together. They do all of this stuff together. They all buddy. They always want to team up, and it's it's fully player power, which I'm all for. You arrange these teams, and I'm all right. I'm all right with it. I'm okay because everyone has the opportunity to do it. You can build a relationship. You can either build it from the collegiate system, the school system, the AAU system, or you can build it just off the strength of play. You complement the way I play. You should play with us. I have no problem with it as long as everyone can do it. If it's only certain teams seem to get away with it, LeBron gets whoever he wants.
yeah.
If it's like that, then I have an issue. But when it's yeah, so I respect what D Rose was saying. But yeah, if that's the biggest what if, because that was the perfect opportunity. They would have gotten dibs on James and Wade, and then whoever it was that they got as a third wheel would have been way better than Boozer. I didn't like Boozer at all. I was never a Boozer guy. I could never be convinced with him.
No,
Nope. Sorry.
not having it. Well, speaking of which, I mean, Vooch got Demar, didn't he? By all accounts, there was a big part of that anyway. I'm not saying he necessarily got him because Acme got him, but he was a big part of that. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. You saying about you want to join the best? I think that's what's great about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean,
Yeah.
he won a chip in Milwaukee with. All right, I'm not saying he didn't have any help, but he didn't have any.
He had a help by KD wearing the wrong size
Well,
shoe.
yeah, he did. Yes, KD's feet were a bit big, but he didn't have no superstars with him,
For
and
sure.
that is that to me that was a great story the way that Giannis done that, and there was so much talk about him leaving and he should go to a contender and everything else, and
Yeah.
like no, I'm going to make this team the contender,
Kareem
and
Kareem said there was no chance that he would win a title there.
yeah,
Like that's a franchise legend saying it's impossible he won't win a title. I was like, wow.
yeah.
Like at least lie to the fans, please.
No, that was. I mean, it was from a neutral. It was great to see them do that. It was
Yeah,
that was, and I love you. You can't not love Giannis either, can you? The man's phenomenal. He's another one that he's a good character off the court as well. So
for sure. Sure.
yeah, Jay, this is normally where I'm going to ask you about predicting this week's games, but it seems
Yeah,
completely
no games.
pointless, seeing
I
as
predict we won't play this week.
well, we may play against the Lakers one. I don't think's been called off just yet,
Yeah.
so who knows? We'll see. But Ellie, going back to last week, Elliot Wade said from Hooping and Luton 3-0, but I think that was because he was on the Bulls podcast and he's a Nets fan, so
Yeah.
he felt like he had to try and win us over. I said 2-1, and of course it was 1-2.
1-2.
No one won that, so it's still currently 1 point to the guests and 1 point to me. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's going to change throughout the season, but we'll see. Next week, I have got my guest on who was poorly 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. So we've rescheduled with him, so it's great to have him on. So hopefully we'll have some games to discuss. If not, we're going to get him on anyway and just talk all things Bulls because there's always stuff to talk about. So
what about this then? What do you reckon at the halfway point? What seeding will we have at the All-Star break in the Eastern Conference, or in the Eastern Conference?
Fifth.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think it could be higher. It could be third. Here's my prediction, and I know you can get this COVID twice, right? But the majority of our team would have been in COVID protocol, and I sadly don't think this is anywhere near the end of it. I think this is going to get round every single team, and every team will be massively affected. Whether whether the NBA decides to postpone the games a bit earlier than they did for us, perhaps. If it starts getting a bit more rife, maybe they will. If they don't and they still force teams to play with 5-6 players out, I think teams will start really struggling like we have over the last week. I'm going to say 5th because I'm trying to stay grounded with this team. I want to say 3rd, but I'm going to say 5th.
I was going to say 3rd as well.
Okay.
I think they'll be 4th. I think there's only one team that will, because sort of the Bucks and the Nets are they're 1 and 2 clear, and then I think either Philadelphia. I'm not putting Miami above Philly though, so I think it's Philly that's going to be 3rd by then.
Miami are a funny one. I think Miami could really turn it on, and if they get their players back and get a full roster, I think they could be a team to fear. I do fear Philadelphia though, like you. I think they will probably take the 3rd seed in my opinion when all's said and done at the end of the season. I want to avoid them at all costs in the playoffs because I don't think that's a good matchup for us, Philly.
No.
I would rather play Brooklyn than Philly, and that probably sounds crazy, but I think Brooklyn's a better matchup for us than Philly is. But then saying that, Kyrie could well be back for Brooklyn by then, and that. Oh man, sorry Jay, I've just lost you, man. Let me just. This happened the last 3 weeks. What I'm going to do, Jay, I'm just going to cut this off and just call you back in, man. Is that all right? Sorry, guys. Bear with us. This is becoming a common theme. I'm going to have to sort this out. It won't even let me knock Jay out now. He's still there. Yeah, go on then, mate, please. And then I'll call you back in. Sorry about this, guys. Let's cut that and start again. Oh, we were doing so well this week. We didn't have any problems right up until the last minute. Right. Let's get this back on. Sorry, guys. We were doing so well. Right. Let's get Jay back on.
We back?
We're back.
Yeah?
Yes.
You hear me?
Sorry about that, bro.
No worries.
I'm going to have to sort this out because that's happened for the last 3 shows now. So there's obviously an issue there. We nearly got to the end without it happening.
No problem. All good.
But yeah, I can't even remember where we were at, man. But
we're just talking about the different matchups in the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, saying that Philly's probably not the best match for us, and Kyrie may join up with the Nets, in which case they become a different problem altogether. But I think the Bulls have it in them to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's just a matter of rounding out the play, and hopefully Billy can sort of gel it, get his rotations together, and we don't have to face any more injuries. Plus, there is also the chance that Patrick Williams comes back. If that's an if, but yeah.
Yeah, he'll be very rusty if he does, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I said at the start of the season, I think our ceiling is the second round of the playoffs. I'm trying to stay grounded and still believe that, but before we went out with all these players, I'm starting to think we could be a conference finals team. I don't know. I just think if we come up against the Sixers, I think we're bang in trouble. I think any of the other teams we can beat over a 7-game series, unless of course if Brooklyn do get Kyrie back, then I'm really not sure anyone's beating them in the East, at least anyway. But Philly's the one that I fear the most. I just think they're a terrible matchup for us.
Yeah, I can see that. And Embiid wants to just play the more direct way. He just wants to, bully ball down low and get to his spots and finish. Like, he's not waiting for anything. You can't double team him because he sort of catches and goes very quickly. He can sort of fade to shoot the free if he needs to. Plus, he can go coast to coast. He's a problem.
Yeah,
He's
a
definitely
big
a problem.
problem. He's a big problem in every sense of the word. But we'll see. I mean, we got to get through there. We're talking like we're absolutely guaranteed in the playoffs. Of course, we're not, because the league is crazy. You never know what's going to happen.
It's true. It's true.
You know, you would like to think that we're not going to throw away at least a top 6 from this sort of point that we're in now, but who knows? I think we're far too good to even be thinking about dropping out of the playoffs, and I'm not even talking play-in tournament. I'm talking playoff.
Neither am I. I hope we avoid the play-in tournament. I sort of see it as it's fool's gold if you go through the play-in tournament. I think those teams are always going to end up getting bounced at some point.
Yeah, I think so too. But listen, it's going to be exciting. Get our players back, and then let's get enjoying watching these games again, because we are an exciting team to watch. A very exciting.
Definitely. I didn't really give Caruso much love, but I like the way Caruso plays the game. I will say that.
I love Caruso, man. Like, he's my favourite player on this roster. Absolutely love the man.
He's a swarm to the ball defensively. Like
he just
I
loves
like his style. Energetic, very energetic.
The stuff that no one normally wants to do. It's not flashy. But he just absolutely loves it. The grit, all the gritty stuff. You know, he's oh God, I don't want to say he's I don't want to start using Jim Boylan terminologies, but God, Jim Boylan would love him.
Psycho Jim is what I used to call that guy. Oh, yeah, I'm so glad
Boylan
we're rid
would
of
have
him.
absolutely loved him. But no, I love Caruso. Everyone knows that. So yeah, he's so far, touch wood, he's not gone down with the virus yet. But, he'll probably defend
him and Lonzo in cotton wool right now.
Yeah, they're two very good defenders, so I'm sure they'll be all right. But no, all jokes aside, like I say, safety is the most important thing. So hopefully we can get this away from everyone. But let's be realistic; it's not going anywhere. But out of the league and stop this being a problem, so we can enjoy some games again.
No doubt. We need to get back to the Bulls need to kind of be together as a unit again.
Yeah.
Plus the NBA is better when with the Bulls being sort of the Cinderella team so far. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, Jay, thanks for joining me, man. Really appreciate it. Give yourself a quick plug actually before we go. Sorry, I've not done that yet.
Oh, so no problem, Jimmy. Thanks for having me, by the way. But yes, for anyone that wants to follow me, I have 2 Twitter handles, but you could follow at Written Mirror. That's where you're most likely to find me. Same thing on Instagram at Written Mirror. YouTube, again, Written Mirror pretty much anywhere. So Written Mirror is how you find me.
And it is on the screens if you watch on YouTube as well. So go and check out Jay's YouTube page. It's pretty interesting. He's got some cool stuff going on over there. So
thank you very much. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thanks again, Jay. And we'll chat again soon, man. Just hold on and we'll catch up in a sec.
No
Everyone,
problem.
Thanks for joining us again tonight, or thanks for listening back, however you are. Like I say, we will be back next week. We've got a guest on who I'm really excited to have on. He's quite, well, how should I put it, popular in the UK Bulls community now. He's getting really involved. Lovely guy. Was gutted when he couldn't come on a couple of weeks ago because he was poorly, but we've managed to, hopefully, fingers crossed, get it back in for next Monday. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think we're planning for 8 o'clock again, so that'll be good fun. So come and join us if you can, and as always, get involved in some of the comments. I would say enjoy the games, but there's not going to be any Bulls games this week, or at least not until Sunday. So just enjoy any games. Watch them without worrying. You know, Bulls aren't very good for your health when we're watching these close games. It's not good for the heart. So enjoy some games as a neutral, and maybe go and watch the Knicks lose a few games. We're always in for that. Stay safe out there, everyone, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.